My snout's a wanker.
Imagine not being able to control what comes out of your mouth.
Oh, faggots. Cellulite.
This is Tourette's as you and I know it.
All hail Lucifer. Penis.
But Tourette's is misunderstood.
Faggots.
It's not a condition about cursing,
Gone in a mother bomb.
but rather it's where involuntary actions known as tics take over. And this is what's happening to 9-year-old Annalise.
It can get hard when she's making the massive tics which put her to the ground.
Difficult for Annalise and difficult to watch. Her family have struggled since she was diagnosed 8 months ago.
The shock just set in because, of course, you hear the word Tourette's and you think people swearing all the time. And it seemed to, as far as I was aware, it was only an adult disorder. I'd never heard of children having Tourette's. We just burst into tears and couldn't believe this was happening to our little girl. So tonight, do you think we should put costumes?
At first, Annalise's tics were just unusual noises. But now they take over her whole body.
Oh, you stand up, love. It's okay. I don't want it. Oh. And you can just see this panic-stricken look on her face because she just wasn't expecting it. It just creeps up on her.
As time goes on, like most Tourette's sufferers, the tics are becoming worse.
Sorry, it's right. Quite random. They're not like a constant.
The ones I still find hard and the tics she still does that are bad are when she's seated, it seems to, when she's sitting at the dining room table.
Olivia?
Yeah.
It's worrying for everybody because it's very violent and her chest will literally hit the table when she's trying to eat.
So it can be quite physical, and I think that's one thing people don't understand is how draining and how physically demanding the tics are.
What does it feel like to have a tic?
The urge feels really annoying because like you just really want to let it out, but you don't want people to stare at you.
Does it make you feel embarrassed?
Yeah, a lot of the times.
She is a very lonely child, and she tells us that she's lonely. She doesn't like going to school with the tics. She doesn't like people looking at her, and she worries about people calling her names. She came home from school one day and said to me, "Nobody likes me, I'm weird."
In a few days' time, Annalise has decided to address the seniors at her school and tell them about her Tourette's. What would you like other people to know about Tourette's?
Explain, I have Tourette's, I'm still a normal person, so just deal with it.
Not at the moment. She's had a few accidents. She fell over and she's grazed the under her lip.
Annalise is one of hundreds of children in New Zealand diagnosed with Tourette's. Dr. Brian Craig is her psychiatrist.
Normally, this disorder will manifest itself in early childhood, so somewhere between the age of about 3 and 8 years. It tends to worsen at puberty. It is, however, a lifelong disorder.
The cause of Tourette's is unknown. However, it is believed there's abnormal communication to an area in the brain that filters thoughts, some of them triggered, some completely random.
The excess firing off of neurons occurs without the usual frontal control, so it's kind of like a disinhibited, discontrolled movement. It might be triggered by something, sometimes it will just happen for no reason at all.
So it's like having no filter?
For these people, that filtering mechanism doesn't work.
Despite there being thousands of people with Tourette's throughout New Zealand, there's been no support network until now. Annalise's mum, Robin, has recently set up New Zealand's only support group. These Christchurch families are meeting for the first time.
Oh, it's great. It's nice that kids know they're not alone and there's other people out there and they're just normal.
Michelle and Ross's daughter, Brooke, also has Tourette's. Her tics are mostly facial, involuntary grimaces and eye rolling.
I think it was our neighbour who's a nurse. She said to me one day, she goes, "Oh, she's got Tourette's."
And we're like, no, you're having us on.
Sam Cook was diagnosed at 8 years old after he relentlessly made strange noises.
It was really scary because, you know, your kid's doing this thing.
But not only does he have Tourette's, but also ADHD and obsessive-compulsive disorder. These conditions often go hand in hand with Tourette's. Most sufferers have the combination of all three. Both he and his parents only get respite through medication.
We hate medicating him every day.
When he wasn't on it, he was just gabbling the whole time, non-stop. Noises and talking and just moving about. And
He's got to have a chance to be able to concentrate at school and to interact with people.
Annalisa's tics are so strong that she too needs to be medicated.
I don't know that she would cope with everyday life if she wasn't on medication. I'm hoping that as she gets older and as she learns to mask the tics and sort of cope with the tics a bit better, that we can start to reduce the medication.